have faith in Dhamma practice. Saddha is faith and confidence. And everyone is different in regards to this parami, this spiritual quality. In the beginning, we have a lot of faith. But for some people who have just a little faith, they may experience something in their minds which may challenge their faith. But through our chanting and bhavana, meditation, we try to train our minds. And this is of the type where we devote our body and offer our life to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. This word Sangha isn't the physical body of the Sangha. The Buddha is the quality of the inner Buddha, the one who knows, the one who is awakened, the one who is joyful. The Dhamma that the Buddha taught, which represents him, is for the purpose of the paths and fruits of Nibbana. It is for the building of our spiritual qualities and to grow our goodness. And we are able to do it. The Sangha are the ones who practice following the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, and who know and see it according to the truth. This is the Sangha in terms of liberation, that have practiced well, practiced rightly, practiced directly, practiced for the ending of suffering. They are an incomparable field of merit for the world. We have chanted this, have meditated, have determination and have faith in this. Like the monks and novices who have received the ochre robe in order to make Nibbana apparent and clear. The laymen and laywomen who have faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and do all types of goodness. It is for the purpose to make Nibbana apparent as well. The Nibbana that is apparent, this is apparent in the mind. Nibbana is apparent already. It is the state of purity. Whoever gains Nibbana, whoever attains to Nibbana, they have no need to go cycling around birth and death again. But when we are still training, we are still practicing, we want it quickly and easily and directly. But there is that which obstructs this. It is what we call avijja, ignorance, doubts. Everyone has this in the heart all the same. So by training and practicing, we will gradually know about our minds. And we may have learnt a lot of pariyatti, the scriptures, and bring them into the practice. But though we may have listened and studied a lot of it, it is still just scriptural theory. We need to put it down first and practice first. Some teachers teach that you need to see a nimitta, a mental image, that you need to have samadhi, concentration, and you need to enter jhana, absorption. You need to create a patibhaga nimitta, a counterpart image in the heart, a clear image that stays in the eye of the mind, or be able to expand or contract that image to be big or small. We hear this and we want to have it like this, so we establish our minds to do that, but we can't do it. Why can't we do it? We do have the faith and determination to do it, but our mindfulness and samadhi is not enough. So wisdom doesn't arise. But is it necessary to see it like that? Those who truly know, they have just a flash of wisdom arise. They see all things as being conventions. The knowing of conventions arise. Sila, samadhi, panya, morality, concentration, wisdom, in that moment they gather together. And one knows instantly into emptiness, and one clearly understands. There's no mental image to be expanded or contracted. The knowing in the beginning is like this. It changes one's views from being wrong, that is miccha ditthi, to be samma ditthi, right view. The faith that we have before, we say that we are someone with a lot of faith, who has faith and confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and in the practice directly towards Nibbana. But when we have knowing arise, it is even more deeper than the knowing in the beginning. The faith is firmer than the faith in the beginning, which we call achara saddha, the faith that is firm and does not waver. This arises in our hearts. So don't worry about whether we think we need to have a high level of samadhi or a lot of samadhi. Or sometimes we may have good mindfulness and samadhi, and we contemplate rupa and nama, the body and mind, and we can have emptiness arise. It is greater emptiness, and the mind goes even deeper. This is having more of the quality of mindfulness and firm samadhi, and is wisdom arising. So let us be certain that this is the path that we will see the Dhamma and attain to the Dhamma. When we do this, then the mind is ready. Like the Kruba Ajahn, the great teacher, he tells us that getting that which is difficult is about finding a method to get us into this hall. When we come into the hall, then we'll see what is in this hall. Here is a Buddha statue and the other things that are in the hall. This means keeping us on the right path. In Dhamma practice, if we can stay on the right path, that is direct to Nibbana, then it's not difficult. In the beginning, it's difficult because of the obstacles, like doubts, and this is a problem for all Dhamma practitioners, or doubting about everything. And the person who doubts, where does it come from? It is from a sense of self. In reality, this doubt is a mental hindrance which arises from ignorance, from not knowing, and so we doubt. Then greed, hatred, and delusion can all arise. Tanha, craving, and upadana, attachment arises. The craving and attachment is ours. The building of goodness is ours. This is a self that is still there, but never mind, we just put it down for now, until we have more wisdom and we see that ignorance is not anyone's. It is not ours. It is not theirs. The ignorance that covers over the minds of living beings, it arises from causes and conditions. There is becoming and birth, there is attachment, there is craving, there is vedana, feelings. If there is feelings, then there is ignorance. Having ignorance is the cause and condition for craving and attachment to arise. They are dependently co-arising. There is no self there. So in the beginning, we need to come and learn and train the mind to have patience, forbearance, with all the different aramana, the sense impressions. This word patience means to bear with all the sense impressions, the moods that we like and that we dislike. We restrain our speech. Even if we have the wisdom, we have the mindfulness and comprehension to be able to speak back easily, and we can win over them easily. So, to be patient is something harder to do than others. Others who don't have wisdom, they speak back, but have the patience of the type without any wisdom. But the one who has a higher patience, and who could speak back, but doesn't do it, they have greater patience. Like a boss, or those managing other people, they have patience with those they manage or lead. It is harder to do, because they are able to act according to their thoughts, but they don't do it. But if it is the workers or the people under them, they have to be patient in order to survive. So we need to train in patience. One who has a lot of spiritual development needs to train in this, to have the quality of sila, moral conduct, to have the spiritual perfection of patience, and to have a lot of the quality of metta, loving kindness as well. So training in the kammatthana, the meditation object, is something very important and necessary. If we don't train and practice instructing the mind, then the mind will fall lower and lower. It is then going in a different way. But if we train our minds to become more firm and well established, then our faith is more firm, and then the effort will follow, the effort to build goodness. Like coming here from near and far, some come from overseas and are determined to come to Wat Marp Jan or to learn Dhamma by joining online. This is to find the answers to the questions in our heart. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Why were we born? And these are questions we have likely heard of before. Why were we born? We were born because we still have liking, pleasure. So we have to keep cycling through births and deaths. Where will we go? We go following causes and conditions that we have made. Like if we have built a good house, then we will live in a good house. If we build a bad house, then we have to stay there, in that realm and existence. So we build a good mind of ours first, through having dana, generosity, and through sila, moral conduct. Because if we experience too many hardships, then it's hard to practice Dhamma. If we live in some faraway place, then it's very difficult to build goodness. Except for those who have a lot of wisdom, they can still do it. So by practicing dana and keeping sila, we will have abundance and completeness, and which is ready to practice in mindfulness and samadhi. So we need to train. When our faith is well established, when we have confidence and we offer up our lives and this body and consciousness, and then the Kruba Ajahn will teach us. Here this is important, which I learned from practicing with Venerable Ajahn Chah, because when we have some good samadhi arising, then self-confidence arises, and we want to contemplate the mind so we can attain to becoming an arahant straight away. We think that we can do it. But the great teacher that has passed this point already, he said, "Hey, it's not like that. Take your mindfulness to look at the body, to understand what you're attached to, which is the root that leads to greed, hatred, and delusion, which is the attachment to this body. When we have learnt about the body with expertise, we may not gain a mental image of the body that we can expand or contract. We just have the knowing arise. In reality, they want us to know just in a brief moment, to see the head hairs, body hairs, nails, teeth, skin, or bones as disbanding, being something that decays and disintegrates. Then sila, samadhi, panya gathers together, and we can see the Dhamma already. We don't need to think so far ahead that, do we need to get jhana? Do we need to gain a nimitta? We just take this present moment, the present moment that we can make the mind peaceful. And the method that we can make the mind peaceful with, we can watch the in-breath and out-breath, or meditate on the word Bhutto, or some use contemplation as their foundation, contemplating this body, having mindfulness in the body, having mindfulness watching the mind, watching feelings, watching the mind objects that arise with the mind. And so we don't need to go knowing what's it going to be like in the future. Just do it like you are now. Then we will know for ourselves clearly, and the doubts will disappear. Or even listening to Dhamma, the mind can gather together. Oh, we can see the true nature of the Dhamma, that all things are emptiness. This is seeing the Dhamma already. It's nothing that difficult and troublesome, and we are able to do it. So may you be determined. Your faith will be firm, and your effort will get better. Your mindfulness and samadhi will become more complete, and wisdom will investigate and search, and you will be able to understand. And we have the right causes and conditions since from when we had built them in the past. Some people hear the chanting Buddho, and the mind can be peaceful, or chanting one of the traditional chants and hearing the first few words, and there arises rapture, there arises samadhi. Whether it is a lot or a little, it is up to one's spiritual development. As for Venerable Ajahn Chah, there is no need to talk about his faith. His spiritual qualities were very high and full, and he met a Kruba Ajahn with great mindfulness and wisdom, and it promoted even more his spiritual qualities. And so we have gained a great teacher that had knowledge and skill to teach us. And when we follow his teachings like this, then our mind will go deeper and deeper and deeper, and we will know and see following him, and wisdom will arise. So don't doubt in Dhamma practice. If we have doubts, put them down first, and ultimately we will see the Dhamma or attain to the Dhamma without difficulty. May you all set your hearts on this. May you grow in blessings.